Hey folks, and welcome to the Salty Seaman. Military movie bullshit, long requested, winner of my recent poll. So let's get going with the final countdown. This is absolutely my first time seeing this movie. Um, hard to believe it's gone this long, but let's see what we can see that's right, and let's see what we can see is wrong. All right, very interesting to see the Marine without the National Defense ribbon. This is just seeing them with just the plain medals is like it's a weird time because post Vietnam up till the first Gulf War, yeah, they didn't give out the national defense, and then there was a break between like '96 and 2001 again where they didn't give it out, but for the most part, like yeah, national defense. Probably most people think you just automatically get it for graduating boot camp, when in actuality, it is a wartime service ribbon. Another cool thing here, I complain many times on these videos about, it seems like they go to like a real base, they have a lot of people walking around in their dress blues. They have they have all the extras that are actually live on base come and make them all dress up, and it seems like everyone just walks around in their dress uniform all the time. Here we have sailors working probably port ops here, just out in their dungarees like they should be. So kudos on the movie for not creating a fake element when they have access to people who would tell you how it really goes. Which I'm kind of getting the feeling for this movie. I know the Navy was helped make this movie, and it's very apparent so far. And this long, slow pan across the USS Nimitz, courtesy of a lot of hardworking bosun's mates and deck seamen who probably spent 3 days and nights on shifts painting the goddamn thing. So kudos to you, boys. Kudos. I'm not going to hit it on every part every time I see it in the movie. Let's just say, even if this was the 80s, where I'm sure there were different safety regulations, so many scenes of people running around without any kind of cranial or ear protection around the flight deck is, let's go ahead and call it out here, even for the 80s. This movie gets ridiculous. But I get why they do it. They're showing off actors' faces. And we also get a lot of, definitely telling these are real sailors they're using as extras. They're too ugly to be cast out of Hollywood. I mean, especially check out the beards. Gotta love those pre-86 beards, sideburns, the hair. It's yeah, that's some old school early 80s Navy right there. I love it. Interesting thing I noticed is I believe that's the XO, not having a SWO pin. He just has his wings from. He's a former pilot, which a lot, if not all, COs and XOs of carriers are. But they also go through years of, SWO. You're earning their SWO pins and getting going through, like, I think they have to go through like a 2 year nuke school like everyone else. Like it's the I know it's the 80s, and the pins were a lot less of a big deal back then. Like, I don't think there's going to probably see anyone with an ESWAS pin in this movie. But really surprised to see a CO or XO without a SWO pin. That's, I don't know. Someone in the comments let me know that served in that era, because I just can't imagine the CO and XO not being SWO qualified. And another point is these dark blue uniforms I'm seeing. I'm seeing the old school dungarees here, and I see like some that look like dungarees, but they're blue. Like, is it a Coast Guard uniform? Is that some alternate shipboard dungaree from that era? I've honestly never seen it. I'm a little surprised by that. I'm just given the correctness of this movie. I mean, I'm really enjoying the Navy porn. Don't get me wrong. Flight deck porn, just showing all the dogging, and it's great. But yeah, I'm really now. I just get distracted when I see one of those guys, because I'm like, what the hell uniform is that? This guy would probably qualify VIP, and he would not be in just a regular stateroom here. He would more likely be he would be authorized to be at one of the flag staterooms. They're nice, much cushier, much nicer, bigger bed. But of course, if we did that, he wouldn't have the exposition of sharing a room with this pilot here. I think this is the CAG. Captain giving shit to the weather guessers for fucking up the weather report. This is definitely realistic. And the nickname of the weather officer is Black Cloud, or maybe that is his name. Maybe he's Native American. Oh, that'd be a great pun. He is Native American, isn't he? Uh, when I was on the carrier, I saw one barricaded landing almost. It was actually during a Tiger cruise. We yeah, the guy couldn't get the front landing gear down, and it goes a lot longer than this situation they got here, where they just immediately, once he announces one time he can't get his hook down, they just call barricade landing. The process takes a lot longer, but it depends on fuel status, of course. And but last minute he managed to get the like emergency gravity thing to work, so the gear came down. He landed safely, no problem. But they did break out the landing gear here, like they do here, so pretty cool. Here's a little interesting tidbit for this GQ scene here, which obviously is filmed. They're probably going through a real GQ drill. Yeah, and I mean, can we just talk about some of these extras for a minute? Actually, oh God, they are so they tickle me because I can just look at them. I'm like, that's a real fucking sailor right there. But the when they're film, like when they come on board to do these things, and I've done them with. We had a movie come on board, a Disney movie called Tiger Cruise. I did not play an extra in it, but they did use our spaces. We were public affairs, which I'm sure is the same thing on the Nimitz back when they filmed this. And you have a scene of one of the scenes they show people getting ready for GQ is in the photo lab, and I guarantee you they were in the photo lab because they knew of the space, and the photo mates probably told them, or the journalists probably told them, like, hey, it'd be a really cool shot to show people working in the dark room back when they had dark rooms, and then getting ready for GQ. And I saw the bullseye; it said PH Division. So, yeah, there's little things like that. 'Cause just having gone through the same experience. One of the other things I've noticed is the Nimitz hats look fairly generic. Now, this was shot mostly on the Nimitz, but there were pickups on other ships. And I think a lot of these scenes, they were using the other ship and they had the more Nimitz hats. That's why they don't have any kind of decoration on. They're just kind of a generic, hat that just says USS Nimitz. So those scenes were probably shot on the other ships they did pick up production on.
Is this the last known position of our destroyers before the storm?
Yes, sir, Captain.
Skipper.
God, I love these extras. Have I mentioned that?
Challengers backwards. 1, 2, 3. Jabs to the mouth. Lewis is short with a right to the head. Khan hooks the left to the body. Brings it up to the head.
Hey, who's that fighting?
Right to the jaw. Lewis.
Is it probably tacky for me to mention that all these historical events going on the radio, this particular Jack Benny show, this particular FDR radio, and then of course this famous boxing match going on, all just happen to be going on within the same hour or so. I guess you got to set the mood, right? Set the scene. It's the same photo, just zoomed and cropped in. I'm really digging the decor on this old 80s awards room here. It's kind of interesting looking at the fashion and styles that have changed, and some of them that really haven't. How much is it just eerily still like, yeah, that's a wardroom. Just because of the years difference, we're talking like 30 years here about, which isn't bad. Actually taking Japanese class currently at college. I was desperately trying to read the markings on this plane, and I'm not going to tell you how I did. Well, one of those sailors decided to be a squared away extra and put actual military creases in his dungarees. God bless you, random Nimitz sailor extra. A perfectly reasonable explosion from a bunch of bullets and that 40-foot yacht. I'm going to handle this a little differently than how I normally do these. I'm about halfway through the movie now, and quite honestly, I'm just really enjoying the movie. I'm not finding a whole ton of flaws. I'm being a little nitpicky with some things that are just basically for movie's sake. But from layman's sailor perspective, I'm sure people from certain areas of expertise and from certain eras could point out a lot more than I can. But from what I see, for the most part, that's is completely believable, accurate enough, and I'm just really enjoying it. So I'm going to cut this part of a regular military movie bullshit, and I'm going to watch the rest of the movie at a later time, enjoy it, and not stop and write down every flaw I see, unless it's something I'm just going to go do a recap of the second half and do a full movie review of the whole thing. A bit of a different style for military movie bullshit for this wonderful, a lot of fun movie so far, Final Countdown. That's all the Salty Seaman's got. Catch you next week for part 2. Peace, bitches.